The ground was shaking. Beneath Qaroon's palace, a crack was tearing open in the earth. People screamed and ran. Gold, silver, thousands of coins, all of it slowly began sinking into the ground. And Qaroon? He stood in the middle of his own palace, the same pride still burning in his eyes that had never once dimmed. But that day, something happened that the children of Israel had never seen before. This story begins with a man named Qaroon. He belonged to the family of Musa, peace be upon him, his close relative. Some accounts say he was his cousin. One blood, one family, but two completely different paths. In the beginning, Qaroon was poor. He worked hard every day, earned a little, just enough to get by. He would watch the people around him living comfortably, and that same longing began to stir in his own heart. He asked Musa, peace be upon him, to pray for him. Ask Allah for something for me too. Show me a way. Musa, peace be upon him, prayed for him. And slowly, as if a lock was turning open, his doors began to part. Allah gave him so much wealth that the keys to his treasury alone could not be carried by one man. There were so many keys that several animals were needed just to carry them. So much gold that the earth itself seemed too small to hold it. But when money sinks into the heart, a man begins to change. People came to meet him, greeted him, honored him. And inside Qaroon's chest, one sentence kept echoing. All of this is mine. I earned it through my own knowledge. He forgot the prayer that had opened those very doors for him. Some well-wishers came to him. They said with love, don't be so proud. Allah has given you so much. Be grateful. Help people with your wealth. Allah does not love those who are arrogant. Qaroon laughed. He only laughed. I have gained all of this through my own knowledge. I need no one's favor. These are the very words recorded in the Quran. He claimed all of it came to him only because of his own knowledge. But this was only the beginning. Qaroon decided he would show the world his glory. One day, he left his house in full splendor and grandeur. Animals decorated in gold, a long line of servants, silk garments fluttering in the wind, drums beating, dust rising, covering the road. People stood on the sides of the road, watching in astonishment. With heavy hearts, some said, if only we had wealth like Qaroon. But there were wiser people too. They said, pity upon you. The reward Allah has is for the one who believes and does good deeds. All of this is nothing but a show. This sentence was short, but its weight was enormous. Because the glitter of this world only deceives the eyes. It never gives the heart peace. Think for a moment about the lives of ordinary people in that time. Worn out by hunger, exhausted from labor, struggling just for 2 meals a day. A mother would soak a dry piece of bread in water just to feed her children, so one more day could pass. And on the other side, Qaroon, whose house held more gold than dishes. This difference was not just about wealth. It was a difference of the heart. Slowly, something else began growing inside Qaroon. Fear. Fear that people talked more about his arrogance than his wealth. Fear that Musa's honor had now risen higher than his own glory. And when fear and pride both settle in a man's heart together, he becomes capable of anything. Then something happened that no one expected. A dread took root inside Qaroon. People were talking about his arrogance. Musa's, peace be upon him, honor was growing. So he bought a woman with his wealth and told her to falsely accuse Musa, peace be upon him, in front of everyone. He gave her gold, made her a promise, and said, just say what I've taught you. I'll take care of the rest. People gathered. There was silence, then an uproar. Musa, peace be upon him, stood there, calm, looking only toward Allah. There was no anger on his face, no fear, only the peace that lives in a truthful heart. But when the woman came forward to speak in front of everyone, something inside her broke. Her hands trembled, her voice shook. She told the truth, that Qaroon had paid her to lie, to disgrace Musa, peace be upon him. The whole gathering fell silent. Musa, peace be upon him, raised his hands. No anger in his voice, only sorrow. He prayed. The sky did not answer with lightning, it answered with silence, and then with a faint tremor in the earth. Morning came. The air was cool. The birds were silent. Then, without any warning sound, the earth began to tremble. First a slight shiver, as if something far away was walking closer. Then a deep crack, running right beneath Qaroon's palace, splitting the walls in jagged lines. The servants screamed. People ran, abandoning their belongings to save their lives. But Qaroon, standing among his treasures, could not say a word. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. The earth began to swallow him. His palace, his gold, the cries of his servants, all of it sank slowly into the ground, the way sand slowly disappears into water. Qaroon reached out with his own hands toward his treasure, as if he could save himself, as if gold could rescue him. But no hand, no power, no wealth came to save him. The earth pulled him in, along with his home and everything he owned. Silence. Only dust rose where gold had glittered just the day before. When the news spread, the very people who had said the day before, "If only we had wealth like Qaroon," now sat holding their heads. They said, "We did not know. It is Allah who gives to whoever He wills, and withholds from whoever He wills. If it were not for Allah's mercy upon us, we too might have faced the same end." This is not just a story. It is a message meant for every age. Wealth, status, power, all of these are gifts from Allah, not a man's own achievement. When a person forgets this, when he starts believing he is the master of everything he owns, his fate is never far from Qaroon's. True wealth is not what is locked away in vaults. True wealth is the gratitude that lives in the heart. And here is a question for every one of us. How many times have we said in our own hearts, "I earned this myself, I don't need to thank anyone"? How many times have we looked at someone weaker and felt superior? The earth doesn't open up every time, but peace of mind disappears. The heart stays empty, even in a house full of things. The prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that Qaroon is still sinking into the earth, and this will continue until the day of judgment. Just think about it. Centuries have passed, civilizations have changed, but somewhere in that deep, dark part of the earth, Qaroon's fate is still ongoing. Every moment, without pause, without end, a punishment that never seems to finish. This is not just a tale, it is a living lesson, buried forever beneath the ground. And as long as this world exists, this lesson will live on too. But the real story was only about to begin. Because Qaroon was not the only one who made his wealth his god. In the times that followed, many others would walk this same path, blinded by the same shine, drowning in the same pride. And their stories, their fates, are still waiting to be told.